Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, it is snowing like crazy out here. They said that we're going to possibly have like another 8 inches of snow at camp, and it's definitely going to get there. We've already got like a ton. So let me. I'm gonna roll down the window over here. I want to show you. Sierra's been sleeping all day, and all of a sudden we do a live stream, and she gets up and she's ready to rock and roll. What's up, baby girl? Oh, I know. Oh, she's all excited. I know what you doing. All right, so let's come over here. I want to show you what it's looking like outside here. So that's my view out of the back, and it's really like you see there where the cord goes into the ground. It's it's buried all the way down. So, and usually that sticks up about 16 inches, and so it's really really coming down. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I know this is kind of midday. We don't really do midday stuff. We should do it at night. But Seth, VW, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for the comment about loving the channel. I'm having fun out here. This is me and Sierra's last time winter camping. We've had, hey Sierra, don't be looking at your privates on the live stream. Well, I've had the vestibule open all day because I've been making RC tracks through there. So I've got my remote control truck, and I'll show you the track that I've been making. So there's the rock crawling truck. And then over here is, I've got like rocks and stuff that I've been using. I know, Sierra. Oh boy, she's looking at my door and stuff because we can't really do much outside because there's so much snow. But I think we should go outside and check it real quick. So let me throw on my boots here, and I'm gonna put you all down for a second, and then we'll head on out. I know, baby girl. Hang on. Oh, you know what's a bummer too is that I have to use this to saw my wood today because the chainsaw that I have, the chain, I noticed it was getting kind of dull, and I thought, well, I can do like one more winter camp with it and do like a couple of 3 or 4 nights worth of wood. And I got about halfway through cutting all this wood, and the chain just is completely dull. It won't cut at all. And so I cut this by hand and sawed through it today with the Silky, and then planning on doing that with some of the other big ones we have here too. And then I'm going to chop it up with the axe here after the live stream, and then get ready for night. And then I'm thinking like tomorrow it's supposed to be up to 50 degrees, and wow, it snowed in Tucson today. That's amazing. So hey, what's up, Ray? Yeah, it's supposed to get sunny here tomorrow, and I don't want it to start melting and the ground get all gnarly. So I'm gonna have to pack up early in the morning, and it's gonna be frigid. It's supposed to get down to like 11 tonight here, and I'm gonna pack up early in the morning, and then we can roll out on ice, and that way we don't have to worry about the conditions getting real sloppy and us getting stuck back in here. Because if we wait until it warms up, at night, even though it's supposed to get down below freezing, with temps like 50 during the day, if it gets down to like 24 at night, it won't get cold enough to where the ground will really harden. And the soil around here is really gnarly. When it gets wet, it's really, really kind of like a slurry, and you can't drive through it. And you lose all traction. You can't do anything, and it's really hard to operate in. And so, Deb, yeah, I'm definitely in my happy place. And so I'm thinking that we'll have to pack up. So I'll probably start packing up this evening, just get like some of the bigger stuff and put it in the truck and get everything squared away, and then get up before the sun comes up tomorrow and pack up the tent. And it's going to be wet just because it's just been snowing so much. It's been, the water, when it melts off and then goes off the sides. And with the soil the way it is, it kind of just flows underneath and gets the soil all soft. So I literally have like a track in the middle of my tent. Let me show you here, like the middle part of my tent from like right there to like right there is solid soil, but on both sides, on the far side here and the far side over there where the water is like coming underneath, that's created that really like squishy soil that you can't get any traction in at all. And so I'm thinking that with the tent, it's going to be wet when I pack it up, and I'll have to set it back up in the sun for like a day somewhere and get it going. So come on, girl, go ahead. All right, we're going to go outside. The snow actually just kind of lightened up a little bit. So let's go over. I've cleared the solar panels. We actually had enough solar this morning to where there was a little bit of sun peeking through the clouds. which is kind of what we're getting right now. So we could probably harvest a little bit of solar, which is nice. I had to run my truck for a little bit because the inverter in there was the only way I was able to get power going. I noticed I didn't have very much power left in the truck. But a little walk around tent here. I cleared all the snow yesterday up against the tent here, and you can see how much accumulated overnight. It literally snowed all night long, and it's been snowing all morning too, and all afternoon. And so same thing with the icicles. Like I cleared those yesterday, and you can see how big those got. And so all that water, when it melts, you can see right here, when it melts, it goes in this crevice right down in there. And then that goes in underneath, and it can pool underneath your tent. And you know the soil out here gets so gnarly when it's wet, so it just doesn't stick together. Whoops, like the stuff does in Colorado. And it's cold enough now to where like the soil's frozen. That's not underneath my tent, and so my tent's keeping it warmer with the stove. But it's real pretty back in here. These trees have amount of snow. And the wind every once in a while will come through and kick it, and it'll you know, like snow from the trees is really pretty. And there's really not been anyone around. There was a group of people that came by in side by sides yesterday, but they were kind of far off in the distance. But I heard them, and I saw them driving by. They were having no problem in the snow. And so I think what my plan is when I leave tomorrow, you know, obviously get my truck all cleared off probably tonight, and that way it's easy to leave in the morning. But also take my tires and deflate them down to like 15 psi. That way I've got more surface area of the tires hitting the ground that can get more traction, because the snow it's kind of like that. Like right now, it's kind of like that damp snow to where it's kind of like mashed potatoes. So I know tonight when it gets really cold, it won't be that. It'll be kind of crusty in the morning. I can just bust through it, no problem. But if I were to leave right now, I think I'd probably get stuck. So, hey, Sierra, let's go inside, girl. Come on. Come over here. Come on. Hey, come on. Let's go this way. Come here. Hey, come on. Over here. She doesn't want to go inside. She's been napping all day, and now she wants to play. Here she comes. What are you doing, girl? You're crazy. All right, we're gonna go back in here. Maybe I'll make a little bit of food for lunch. Come on, girl, over here. Sierra, this way. She didn't want to come inside. She just ran to the other side of the truck. All right, go on in. All right, we're gonna head back in. The snow's actually really settled down. It was coming down. It's like whiteout conditions there for a while, so it was wild. But let me get this off, and then we'll get caught up on comments and questions, and then we'll chill by the stove. And I'm thinking about like a bagel sandwich. I've got everything bagels, and I could cut them in two, and then make like a sandwich where I could toast up the bagels and then do like an egg, cheese, and onion sandwich with the everything bagels, which would be pretty nice. So, all right. Oh, and I've got the footage that I've been getting the past 2 days for the next 2 videos is really good, because I'm using like the head cam when I'm out running around in the forest with Sierra and stuff like that, and then also around here just doing chores. And then just got really great night footage last night too, and like working with the stove and all that stuff. So, all right, let's see here. Let me get caught up on questions here. I'm going to scroll back and kind of see. Wow, what's up from Pagosa? Hounds 40 outside. That's awesome. Or Hounds for outside. How much snow are you getting in Pagosa Springs? I wonder if it's going to snow's flying in western Nebraska. Michael McCoy, that's awesome, dude. Man. Numero, you're from Bangladesh. Well, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for tuning in. Sunny and 50 here in Central Ohio. Michael Burrows. Judy Delgado. Oh, thanks for tuning in, Judy. All right, let's see. Wow, it snows. Looks deep in places. Yeah, Debbie, it's really deep. It's about up to, when I went out this morning, there were some areas that were up to my knee. But those were like the drift areas, and that wasn't the main areas. And so let's see, what else do we have? The snow looks deep in places. Hello from Moonshine, George. Oh, here in West Virginia. Oh, that's cool. What's up, Carl? All right. Let's see. What do I use? So I use Final Cut Pro on preloaded on MacBooks. And so when I I just saw Elsa and Baron's comment. Elsa, that's so funny. I know. I every time I go to Whole Foods and I see the ingredients there, like the Oreos, and then the like little chocolate morsels, stuff like that, I think like, yeah, I'll pick it up, but then I'll just eat it like I did last time before I ever cooked it. And so that night when the next day when I was like, yeah, I kind of ate a lot of them, I ate them all that night, and I had a pretty bad stomach ache the next day. And so that's funny. So for people that don't know, Elsa makes this really awesome fudge, and it's a pretty simple recipe, but like all the ingredients are awesome, and so you can eat them in and of itself, like singularly as a treat. And so she told me how to. I was like, "Hey, can you pick that stuff up to make the fudge?" And they were nice enough, Elsa and Baron, when they went into Slida to get the supplies. And then I ended up just pounding all the cookies and eating all the little chocolate morsels before I made it. So, but I'd like to get around to making that. I'm kind of trying to be on a health kick though, because now that I'm gaining weight back, and I was eating anything I wanted to, and I'm kind of getting a little belly again. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen. All right, but yeah, so for my videos, I use Final Cut Pro, and then for the cameras, it's like I've got the GoPro 9 and then the Canon G7X Mark III. So, all right, let's see what else have we got here. Let's see, is there any kind of cover that you can? So Deb, you're asking about like if there was like a cover that I could put over the tent. Not really. I mean, I guess I could probably get like a big tarp and put it up over it if I wanted to. But what I've been doing is I've been digging channels in the mud, and I've got that really great entrenchment tool. I don't know if if everybody knows this, but I've got a entrenchment tool that I got from an estate sale. This guy was a hoarder in Saguache, Colorado, and he owned the old hotel that was in the middle of downtown Saguache, which is this old historic area that's starting to get revitalized. And he hoarded like World War II, Vietnam era, and World War I era war relics. And this was like a 1964 entrenchment tool that I picked up there. I got it for like $25. And what they were doing was they're fixing up the hotel, but when that guy passed away, they're going through each room and they're selling all the relics in there and then using that money to fix up the hotel. And you should have seen some of the stuff like the World War I era first aid kits that this guy had, and I mean they were all pristine. It was amazing. So that's the best digging tool and entrenchment tool I've ever used. You can see all the mud that I have on it from making channels. So what that does is that helps the water to go away. I mean, it doesn't get all of it, but definitely helps for a majority of it. So I've got channels on both sides, and I'm kind of on a little bit of a slope, and so I dug channels around on both sides to where it would filter down, and then it goes out the backside towards the road that's over there. So that's one thing you got to deal with a lot, especially this time of year. I don't know if you all saw Baron and Elsa's latest video where they were stuck in the mud, and that's a big problem this time of year. Like the shoulder season, if you ever hear somebody call that, say, oh, it's a shoulder season, that means the season in between like summer and winter. So you have a shoulder season in the spring and then a shoulder season in the fall. The shoulder season in the spring, I think, is a lot harder to deal with because you're dealing with all the snow melt. In the fall, the shoulder season is not bad because it might snow, but then it's going to warm back up, and then the trails will clear up, and the trails are already pretty dried out in the fall anyway. And so if it snows a little bit, it's not going to make the trails all messy. But this time of year, I mean, with everything thawing out, I mean, it is a pain. And then if you have a dog with you, I mean, naturally they're not going to know like, oh, my feet are dirty. They're just going to jump up on stuff, and so everything kind of gets dirty with that as well. So just a heads up, something to think about. All right, let's see. Oh no, so VODs, you were asking if I said Salida. I meant Salida, Colorado, not Salida, California. So my elevation right now, Nick, you were asking, the elevation I'm at right now is 7,200 feet, and so I'm near Flagstaff at the moment, and it's been snowing like crazy. Like they originally were saying that during the daytime, the most snow that would be out here would be like an accumulation of like 4 inches in one day. And I've already had, I mean, it's well over a foot, and today they said another 8 inches possibly. And I full on believe that's going to happen. So it's probably had another 4 this morning. And so the elevation here is good enough to where, at night it's pretty cold. I mean, tonight it's going to get down to 11. And with it being that cold, like I was saying, the ground will be nice and frozen in the morning so I can get out of here. But packing this thing up in the morning is going to be a pain. And so what I'm going to have to do after the live stream is go through and like all the snow that's around the bottom here, all that is kind of wet right now because it's right about freezing. It's right about 32 degrees. And so it's a little bit slushy, and all that's going to turn into solid ice tonight, and it'll actually freeze my flaps to the ground. if I don't get all that out of the, kind of moved away from the tent before nightfall. So lots of chores today left. And then also too, sawing up this wood by hand and not having the chainsaw to do it, since the chain itself is really dull and not working. So, all right, let's go back and let's go sit by the stove. And I think what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and cook. I'm going to put you down. I'm going to grab a few items out of the fridge here. And then we're going to hang by the stove and cook. And I got I made sure that all the cast iron was nice and clean. Everything's seasoned real good, ready to rock and roll, so we can start cooking right away. So hang on 1 second here. I should have put you in front of Sierra so you could be entertained with her. All right, let's see. Okay, so I want to show you guys something that's pretty awesome. So my friends, I got a super chat. Let me see what this. For Lumix Overland Adventures. Hi, Brian. Can you go over the SD vehicle registration again? I did read the blog, but it seems like you have to sign up for a mail service, which I don't need at this point. Yeah, you don't have to sign up for the mail service. That's only if you want to have your residency in South Dakota. You can do it with an out-of-state address. And like when I registered my South Dakota vehicle, just for the registration, it was registered to my buddy Tyler's place in Colorado. When I was hanging out in Salida this summer, he was like, yeah, if you wanted to send it here, that's cool. And so you can get it sent to anywhere in the world, really. But as far as getting your license itself, you have to go to South Dakota and get an address there through those mail services in order to get an actual license. So if you follow the instructions on there, also too, if you call Clay County, just ask for the treasurer, Clay County, South Dakota, and just ask for the treasurer. They'll walk you through it. And I can't remember the gal's name that I talked to, but she was really nice. And it's pretty simple. Like when you talk to them on the phone, I thought, I was like, I'm certainly missing a step here, because it seemed like it was very minimal stuff of what I had to, send them and everything. And I think it was to register it initially, just to the title there was like $10, and then altogether it was $43. And I thought, how can this be legal? And then 2 weeks later, my tag showed up, and I was like, this is wild. So yeah, you don't have to have an address in South Dakota for the tags itself. You just have to, if you want to get your actual license switched over to South Dakota, then you have to go up to South Dakota and get that. So let me know if that answers your question. If not, I can go into more detail. So, all right, let's see here. Let me see if I can remove that. All right, cool. All right, let's go back to what else have we got here? Whoops, I didn't mean to delete that message. I don't know why that deleted, so sorry about that. All right, watching from Spain. That's all. When you get in a crock pot? Well, Dog Throne, you're asking about you said, haha, that's what I'm saying. It seems too easy. That's what I thought. I thought that I'm missing something, like that. They're like, yeah, just fill out like section 4. You don't have to have like, all of your information, and just give us like 2 forms of ID and send us $10. I was like, is this a hoax? Because this kind of seemed like it, but it wasn't. And it came through, and I mean, it's awesome. I'm pretty happy to have it. And it's kind of fun too, because when you see other people when you're out and about, and if they seem like they have like a built out rig, and then they have, South Dakota tags, you're probably like, yeah, that person's probably full-time nomad, or at least majority of the time nomad. And so you strike up conversations with people. And then I do have a few people occasionally be like, you're from South Dakota? Because that's where they're from. I'm like, no, I just have my truckers. So they're like, oh. It's like, we never run into people from South Dakota out west. So anyway. All right, let's see what else. I wanted to show you this real quick. So my friends Chad and Lisa, they've got that ranch. And they've been slowly like working on getting their farm stuff up, as far as like farm animals and everything. And they've got some really good chickens, and then they've got these goats that are really good too. These goats are kicking out some amazing milk. And so I've been drinking that goat milk, and it's been amazing for my stomach, because goat milk has prebiotics in it. So that's like the precursor that helps them make probiotics. And then also too, all the normal probiotic stuff in it. So I've been drinking that, and that was great. And then I put some in Sierra's food every morning. She really liked it. But one of the things I want to show you were these eggs that I got from Chad and Lisa's place. So these eggs here, they've got this one chicken who's like a super chicken that makes these eggs that are huge. We call them ostrich eggs. So here's a normal chicken egg right here. Okay. And then this chicken is normal size. It's not any bigger or anything like that, but it's just a normal size chicken. Then here's the eggs that chicken puts out. So like, it's like double the size. And I made breakfast burritos this morning, and I was able to make 2 breakfast burritos with just 2 of these eggs. And so those eggs are amazing. And that's what I've been doing. I've been getting all. I'm going forward. If I'm in Arizona, I'm going to get all my eggs and stuff from Chad and Lisa, and then same with my goat's milk because it's really good. So we're going to use that for cooking up stuff. Oh, I need to grab the everything bagels. So let me grab those real quick. Yeah, I'm glad the storm kind of died down a little bit. It's just lightly snowing now. It's not like it was before. And I mean, it was really windy before, and so I'm glad that it's chilled out because it was gnarly. I'm gonna definitely shut that window back there. How's that? That's better. Still not great. The lighting in here is kind of weird. It's kind of coming and going with the cloud thickness and all that stuff. So, all right, let's see. Let me get back here and see what's going on. Yeah, Sally. So I actually read about that. Sally makes a good point here, which is goat milk is great for dogs, and it really helps with their gut biome. And so when I was reading about goat milk, and it's it's unpasteurized goat milk, it's just straight out of the goat, and it's freaking awesome. It tastes great. And I started researching about how good it was for dogs, and I mean, like Sierra is all over it, and she just loves that stuff. And so I'm just gonna make that part of her diet as well. And it's really interesting. I didn't know about the prebiotics. I knew obviously about probiotics, but I didn't know goat milks had prebiotics, which helps your body make probiotics, which is pretty awesome. All right, let me see. What's up, Jesse? Hey, how was Sedona, man? You were in Sedona, I think, checking out the snow. So preach goat's milk. So here's Chad and Lisa's the slick city ditchers, where I'm getting the goat's milk and the eggs. So the goat's milk is amazing, man. I'm already all out of it, Chad. Like we already slammed through all. We ran out this morning. So once I'm able to get out of here tomorrow, I'll probably cruise. I don't know if I can get into your area. I may have to go south for a little while. I'll give you a call later. We'll figure out what's up. But all right, let's see here. What else have we got here? Life Force Unleashed. I'm from South Dakota. It's really easy. You just have to believe the USPS won't make a mistake. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully they won't send the tags to the wrong place. That would be bad. So, Jay, you've got the same silky saw? All right, let's see. Let me pin this message here. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So Jay makes a good point here. So Jay, he's got he's got a tent that he does in the wintertime. If you've not had a chance to check out his stuff, check out his channel. Definitely do so. And he makes a good point with the silky. I mean, like I've been sawing at that thing for a couple hours. Like I'll go in there for a little bit, saw, rest, go back in, saw, rest. Because that thing, you just wear out super quick, especially when the wood's a little bit harder. It was easy when I was going through aspen wood because aspen wood's so soft, but it's all good. So Rose for more. Thank you very much. I really enjoy your content. Got here from watching Elsa and Baron. Happy to sub. Safe travels. God, thank you very much, and thanks for coming over and checking out my channel. And then VODs, does Sierra play fetch? Yes, very much so. We have I've got like this little I don't know what brand it is, but it's like one of those flexible dog frisbees. And so we play frisbee all the time, and she loves that. And then I don't know if you saw the video this morning, but there's all these like sticks and stuff that are underneath the snow out here. And Sierra will root her nose around in it when we're out running around outside, and she'll find the sticks and then throw them up in the air and then run around and catch them and then keep on playing and stuff like that. So especially when I'm out there chopping wood. When I chop, there'll be like wood fragments that go out, and if they're big enough, like a stick, Sarah will come and grab it and run around and play and all that stuff. So it's pretty fun. So, all right, let's see here. Hello from Quartzsite. Nice to see some snow. Oh, nomadic weather bear. Yeah, it's snowing up here pretty good. This has impressed me. I mean, it's been the biggest snowstorm I've had. So I was over in Colorado to start out the season, and I had 2 good snowstorms to start out the season. And then after that, there were storms, but they were more like just cold storms with a little bit of snow. And then this storm, it's just been continuous. I mean, it's been nonstop. And the flakes are huge. there was a time today where I was like, man, if this doesn't stop snowing, like I'm literally going to just have to walk out here. I won't be able to get my truck out. But now that it's subsiding a little bit, I think we're in good shape. So, all right, let's see what else. Let's see. Do I run into other full-time tent dwellers, cruising gypsy? Not in the wintertime. I do in the summer. I run into other tent dwellers, and I always question like why someone would choose to do the tent in the summertime, because the passive solar is intense. It's intense. Get it? The passive solar is a lot in the summertime, and so it's a lot in the wintertime. And it keeps your tent warm. So in the summertime, it's brutal unless you can set up in full shade. So, but as far as winter camping goes, I've never actually come across another person winter camping in a tent the whole time I've been out here. And so I've come across people in RVs, and also people in trailers, like camper trailers. And a lot of those people will retrofit wood stoves in there. Like I'll see fifth wheels with wood stoves, like people will punch a hole in the roof and put in a stove jack and all that stuff. And that's got to be great. I mean, you can go anywhere with that, and then, I mean, if you got a fifth wheel, heck, that's a ton of room and you're good to go. Then you can kind of pull it in and out of places. Probably be limited with mobility, but if you're just sticking to like BLM roads or Forest Service roads before you get to the gates, there's usually places you can find that you can pull into, so. But as far as other tents, no, I haven't run into other tent campers during the wintertime. So let's see here. What else have we got? Has Joe Rogan reached out to me? No, not yet. Coors fan 2010 asked me about this. No, I put a couple of his podcasts in those videos after I had mentioned that he was following the channel, but I haven't heard from him. And I've been seeing all the people he's had on there. They're all the heavyweights of like the content world, and I'm a small potatoes in that world. So I think I have to keep going for a couple more years. Maybe after that, maybe if I do like 10 years of doing this, he'll have me on. So we'll see. But it is cool that he follows the channel. I mean, that's just I didn't know that for the longest time. And I do remember a long time ago, like there was a comment that was on one of my truck camping videos. It was like 2 years ago. And it said like Joe Rogan, and it had the face where he had his tongue out, and I thought that's not him. That's probably some fake account, and it was him. So I got to go back and find that comment. So anyway, let's see what else have we got here. Looking at getting a tent. I really like the new one. How much does it weigh? So Life Force Unleashed was asking about the new tent that I have. So that new tent that I have, it's a teepee style tent, and it's the Lux 4-person. It's called the Mega Horn is what it's called. And there it goes. It's getting pinned now. Things are kind of laggy here. I hope my video quality is okay. But anyway, so the tent is the Mega Horn. It's the 4-person teepee tent. I like it. It's easy to set up. I mean, heck, you can have that thing out, nothing flat. It doesn't have a floor in it, so I have a bathtub floor that was delivered to my buddy's place in California. And I may have them ship it out here. I may go back out to California to go pick it up and hang out there again. I'm not really sure, but you can get different types of tents for the interior. So you can get like if it's buggy out in the summertime or in the fall and you want to go hunting, but there's still bugs out, but it's cold at night. You can get an interior tent for that teepee tent, and it's still run a stove in there, and then you can have a section where you can have it zipped off for bugs and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. But I like how lightweight it is. The tent with the pole and the carrying case, like the carrying bag with it, is like 7 pounds, I think, total. And then the stove that I got, the backpacking stove, the titanium one, is 4 pounds 4 ounces. So you're all in for under 12 pounds for a backpacking hot tent setup. And it's a little bulky. I mean, for backpacking, it's like a big. It'd be like a big bedroll, kind of something bigger than this amount twisted around. It's probably about like double of that, as far as around. If you doubled the size of it, that's about how big it packs down to. And you just put the center pole, you pack it up and put it in the middle and just roll it up. But I'm just impressed with how easy it is to set up. And so, I'm gonna have. I don't have a whole lot of experience in it yet. I've only got 2 nights in it. And I'm going to get more now that this will be the last time I use the big tent. I'm going to retire after this for the evening or for the year, and not kick it out until the fall. And so now going forward, I mean, I'll still get into cold weather conditions, and I'm definitely going to rock the teepee style tent. So I'll have videos about it, and I'll talk about pros and cons, all those different things. One thing I did notice when I got in there is that the ventilation system on it, there's a vent at the top that you use these bungee cords to like pull around and cinch down this opening to where you either have it vented or closed up, and you have to do that from the outside, which is kind of a pain because I'm like, man, I want to be able to do that from the inside. That way, if it's snowing like crazy, I can open up the vent or close it. I don't have to get out. But it's small things. It's no big deal. But it is nice and cozy in there. It doesn't take much to heat it up, and so you can get to an area, and even if you're not carrying wood with you, if you find wood, like all the trees, like low branches on trees, are usually dead, and they're still hanging on the tree, so you can break those off and use those and cut them up. And with the silky saw, it'll be able to help me process wood when I'm back there. So I'll be excited about sharing my thoughts with that. All right, let's see. Brian, Kathy from hey, what's up, Kathy? Want to say what's up? All right, hello from France. Oh, cool, Claire. Thank you for tuning in. That's awesome. Hello from Denmark. Hello back. That's awesome. Any plans to go back to Crested Butte? Yeah, definitely. I was actually thinking about that the other day. I want to go back this summer and see what's up to my work buddies from there, and just kind of kick it around there. And then also too, like they get snow all year in Crested Butte. There's been snow in the summertime there, back up in the hills. So it'd be nice to go back up in there, kind of further away from town, and get back up in some of the higher areas and use the backpacking tent with the wood stove and kind of do some stuff back in there. So we'll see, but definitely going back to Crested Butte this summer. And I'm planning on spending part of the summer fly fishing through Central Colorado. And so when I do that, I'll definitely go through Crested Butte and hang out there. I love that area. That's such a great place. So Cody James, thank you very much. Big fan. Being a disabled veteran, I can't go off-grid camping, so I'm living coastally through you. Stay warm and keep safe. Sierra safe, brother. Oh, dude, thanks, man. Here's Sierra. She's just chilling right next to us. She's listening intently. Well, she was sleeping until I said her name, and then now she got up. But she's doing good, and she loves running around the snow. I think that this is her favorite style of camping that we do, because like when we're out truck camping and all that stuff, I think she thinks it's a good time. But when we get out in the snow, and especially in the morning, like when she gets out first snow or after a heavy snow, gets out first thing in the morning, starts running around. I mean, the excitement that this dog has for snow. So I'm like, what's up, girl? It's like we're two peas in a pod. So she's doing well, and she's like the best companion out here. She's so much fun. So Rose for more. Thank you very much for that super chat. So all right, let me see here. What do you think about hitting New Mexico this summer? Broken Nomad. Well, let's see. I don't know, man. I'm thinking. I kind of like to go where the wind blows, because whenever I make plans, I always end up just changing them. And so I'm thinking like, I'll probably bounce around between Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado all summer. But I definitely want to do a portion in Colorado for fly fishing, and didn't get a chance to do as much as I wanted to last summer because all that Giardia stuff came up that went misdiagnosed. And so I'd like to get back up there. And there's some lakes that I wanted to backpack to this past summer that I didn't get a chance to do. And so a lot of it too is going to depend on the ranch and when that comes online, because if that comes online sooner rather than later, then, I'm going to spend a good portion of my spring and early part of my summer there, just getting it dialed in and getting everything ready for monsoon season. But if it comes online, like during the middle of the summer, I'll probably have to jam back and abandon my Colorado plans and go to Arizona and start working on it. So we'll see how things kind of shake out. I don't know. I mean, who knows how long probate's going to take for the property. It could be right around the corner. It could take a long time from now. I don't know. So we'll have to see how that hashes out. So let's just stay in touch, and we'll see, Kevin, as how our schedules kind of play out. So Sugar Max Sierra, so cute. Thanks. I appreciate that. She's right here just chilling. She's just hanging next to us, just listening. She's so cute because she'll sit here and listen to me, and like I'll just talk about stuff, and her little tail will go, and she just has a blast. And so she's fun. Let's see. So Bonnie, you were asking about have I ever come across any bear or big cats in my camping areas? And yeah, actually both. When I was in Crested Butte working for the town as a gardener 2 summers ago, there was actually a day where I had 6 black bears coming to camp in one day. There was a group of 3 black bears that came down. I swear one of those black bears was it looked like a grizzly. It was like twice the size of the 2 other black bears, and it walked different too. It had like the big shoulders instead of the big butt. You can always tell bears. The black bears had the big butt and kind of like the soft shoulders and kind of like a big face. The grizzlies have huge shoulders and they have like a sloping back, and their head's a lot bigger too. And so there was one of the bears looked like a grizzly. I mean, I was walking like two. I thought, man, there's not. They say there's no grizzlies in Colorado, but the sheriff in Crested Butte claims that he saw a grizzly when he was out hunting one year. And so those three walked by camp, and they were up on the hill a little bit, and they paid no mind to me. I mean, like they looked down and then just kept on trucking. They didn't stop. But the other ones, it was bothering me because like I took Sierra for a walk, and then we came back, and there was one that was just sitting in my camp and like grunting, like, and they'll look at you and they kind of look past you. They look through you, and it's really unsettling. And that one, it took me about 5 minutes to get that one out of my camp. And I don't want to throw rocks at it or anything like that because you don't want to piss it off. It might charge you. And so you just make a bunch of noise and, try to act all big. And so then it finally went off, and Sierra was barking like crazy. And, she was on leash because I wanted to make sure that I saw the bear before she did. And I was like, man, I'm putting her on leash right away. And then we had two other bears come in. One was like late in the afternoon, it just kind of walked by camp and just kind of just poked its head around, just kind of looking what was going on. And I chased it off. And there was a bear that was at dusk. And the one at dusk was like really lingering around, and it bothered me. So I thought, we're out of here. And I just packed up and we left for the day. And then as far as mountain lions go, I've only had one mountain lion encounter, and that's one too many in my opinion, because that means they're real close to you. And, mountain lions, you usually don't see a mountain lion until they're on you, and they come from behind and they attack. They come and they grab your neck, and that's how they take you out. And so you usually don't see a mountain lion until it's on, until it's on your back. But this mountain lion, I was atop of Marshall Pass in Colorado, and there's a Forest Service cabin up there that I stayed in one night when I was up there doing trail work. And so this cabin, I was getting close to it, and there's it's probably 200 yards off the pass to go back into this one area to go back on the little road, or little trail that goes back to this little cabin that the Forest Service maintains. And so before I went back in there, I thought, well, I'll get out of my truck and I'll fill up my Nalgene bottle before I start to unload my stuff, for the night. And that way I'll have fresh water, and, then I can just get to my water later on in the evening. And so I got out of the truck and dropped my tailgate and filled up my water, put my tailgate back up, put the topper gate down, walked around my truck. And right as I walked around, about 30 feet in front of my truck, there was a mountain lion standing there, and it was standing like parallel to me or perpendicular to me. So it was crouched like this, like looking like it was crossing the road. And so it was like, in the road like this, and I was going this way. But, mountain lion can close that distance in a second, that 30 feet. I mean, that's no problem for them. They can jump 30 feet, And so I was just sitting there looking at this thing, and I came around and I froze. So I was like, holy shit. It was just so big. And this mountain lion, I'm not, like I've told this before, but it was standing there, crouched down. Its head was really close to the ground, but it was like looking at me like out of the corner of its eye. And I'm thinking like, that's the death look right there. That thing wants to come and murder me. But it was looking at me, and it was down, and it had the biggest muscles, and you could see the fibers in its muscles. It was had like huge biceps and like these shoulders and its neck muscles. I mean, and then like its body, and then this the stovepipe tail on it was like this big around, and literally the length of its body. And I looked at that thing and I thought, that is the super killer out here. Like the bears and stuff. I mean, if they get you, yeah, that's bad news, and you can fight them, and maybe luckily you'll get away. If a mountain lion wants to take you out, it's going to take you out. Like you can't do anything about it. Like those things, that scared the crap out of me when I saw that. And luckily it just like I froze, and it sat there and looked at me. And I think it was sizing me up going, should I have that guy for dinner, or should I just let him go? And then it just kind of like, I could tell in its eyes, it just kind of lost interest after about 5 seconds looking at me. And it just kind of slowly went like this. And then it took one lazy step, and went boom, and it was 15 feet up a cliff and gone. And I thought, holy shit, I thought that thing is a super animal. And so yeah, that was crazy. So a way you can tell if you're in mountain lion territory is if you look up around the trees that are around you, and if there's deer carcasses or animal carcasses that are pulled up in the trees, and there's bones in the trees, or just carcasses in general pulled up underneath trees that are like not all the way eaten, and there's more than one of those around, like you're in a lion area. Okay. And also too, like if it's a tight canyon, it's not very deep, the lions will just hang out on top. Like the mountain lions will just hang out on top, and they'll just pick off the prey that comes through there. Cause it's like, it's like fish in a barrel. You just, all the deer come through there, they just hop down, grab them, and cherry pick the deer. And so, you got to be mindful of that stuff. There's been times where I look back and I think like, man, I didn't even realize it, but especially when I first got out here, like I'd camp in mountain lion area and not realize like, oh, cool, there's deer bones. Like not realizing like that those deer bones were brought there by a mountain lion probably within the past few days. So that mountain lion is probably around here, and and I'm sitting here looking at it like it's cool. So just stuff like that, just to be mindful of it, and then you learn about that stuff there. And what's interesting now is I was thinking about this the other day when I first hit the road before the snow hit the ground here. It was really interesting. I saw a herd of elk, and there must have been about 50 of them. It was amazing. And I got like the tail end of it on my camera. I zoomed in, and right at the end of it, you can see them shooting through the forest pretty far deep in there. But I thought, well, I'm going to get out of my truck and I'm going to here and see if I can find these deer. Because I noticed on the ground, I could see a lot of animal prints because the ground was different. It's kind of like a softish mud. And I started thinking, I'm like, man, when I first hit the road, I couldn't identify anything, like any track. And now I can look on the ground and be like, oh, cool, there's raccoon, there's deer, there's squirrel, there's elk, there's bear, there's mountain lion, there's whatever. And it's kind of comforting to know that like I can see that, and then now I can see if there's a threat, if there's any prints on the ground, Whereas before I didn't know what I was looking at. So all right, let's see here. Let's see what else have we got. Let's see. Let me go back here real quick and see. I have bear spray and I've never had to use it. Yeah, bear spray is the best thing I think to have out here, just because you don't need a whole lot of skill to deploy it, and it lays down like a real thick fog that kind of hangs on the ground about 3 or 4 feet above the ground, and it's like a wall, and so you just basically lay down a huge semicircle around you and then run the other way if animals are coming at you, or if people are coming at you and you want to debilitate them. And it's non-lethal, and so you don't have to worry about killing anybody or killing any animals. But that's and it's easy to deploy. A lot of people ask me about guns, and yeah, I've got guns, but I don't think I'd rely on a gun right out of the gate unless something was really far away. Then of course you can touch it with having a gun. You don't need to be within 30 feet, like with the bear spray. But if I'm in close encounters, what I'm reaching for is my pocket knife that's in my switchblade knife that's right here that just comes out, and then also the bear spray and like my machete, and going to town with that. Because like you disable an animal to where it can't breathe and it can't see, or a person, and you're good to go. But if you have a little tiny projectile like this and something's running at you and you're trying to hit it and it's from 30 feet and it's dancing all over the place, I mean, good luck hitting it, And so I think that the bear spray out here is probably the best deterrent and the easiest deterrent that you could use. It's like the minimal amount of effort for the maximum amount of results for protection is the way I look at it. And I think it's important too to carry guns and be mindful with that, and have knives that you know how to operate and all those things for utility use, like you've got your pocket knife, or for protection, which this is what this is. This is a pocket knife that just clips onto your inside of your pocket there, and so reach into the pocket, grab it out. This is basically for animals, like if we have another dog attack, like when Sierra got attacked, I could put my arm out, have the animal attack that, operate this with one hand, open it, and then defend myself. And it's a buck knife, and it's got a switchblade and then a lock on it. And so it's really nice because it's really concealed, and I have it on me all the time, which is great. And so that's a nice one to have, and it's out of the way, and it's real simple to use, and you can operate with one hand. There's a drawback to operating a blade with one hand. If it malfunctions or doesn't come out right away, you have a tendency to cut yourself. If you're freaking out and you're trying to get the blade out as fast as possible, it doesn't lock all the way, and you go in to try to use it, it could definitely fold back on you. So that's something to think about. But for this, the concealment of it is nice, and having like a straight blade knife on me and carrying it full time, that's kind of out in the open, and I just don't want to do that. So okay, so BG fan forever was asking, have I ever volunteered with the wildland firefighting efforts during the summers in the mountains? No, I never did volunteer with the wildland firefighting efforts. I volunteered instead and did trash cleanups for the different Leadville Ranger District and Salado Ranger District in Central Colorado. And so what I would do is I would just go through these trails that I adopted every day. I'd just drive them, and a lot of them led to really great fishing spots. And so I plan my day around the good fishing times and hit those trails. And then on the way up, I just pick up all the trash. And then on the way down, if there was any additional trash that came up when I was up there, pick that up. And it was a great way to get to know areas. Like I tell people, if you want to get to know the best places to camp in your specific area, or like if you move to a new area and you want to get to know the lay of the land real fast, volunteer for your local BLM, your local Forest Service, or your local like state park, associations or organizations. And you'll get to know all the people in that area that know those areas. And they'll say, hey, you should go there and check that out. Or you might even go work on one of those areas, So that's how I got to know all these areas really fast. Is that I'll go to a new area and volunteer. And I volunteered in Colorado, Utah, and now in Arizona for the Forest Service, BLM, and then just various friends of groups. Those like, Friends of the 4 Mile, where I used to hang out in Buena Vista, or like in Bears Ears, Friends of Cedar Mesa, volunteered with them for a while. And when you volunteer with all those people, you just pass along information. It's really great because you get the keys to the kingdom right out of the gate, and it's and on top of it too, you get to give back, which is important. And I think living this way, I encourage people that live this way to volunteer and give back, because we're out here and we're being on public land and having a nice time, and I think it's important to give back. So yeah, definitely check that out. But let's get I want to get some lunch going here because I'm starving. So let's see, what do we have here? Any more questions? You are amazing. Rose for more. Thank you very much. So all right, let's see. Let me see if I missed any questions here. No. Solar panel producing energy when snow and clouds are on. Oh, okay. This is a good question. Barry was asking about this. And the thing about energy is, so I knew that when I was coming out here that I was going to be dealing with low energy and intermittent sun, if any sun at all. And so I wouldn't have an opportunity to charge my battery. So when I stayed in those hotels in Flagstaff, the first night I didn't get any sleep, and I actually didn't charge the battery that night because I was too tired. I forgot to bring it in. And the second night, before the storm hit, on what was that, Tuesday night? Yeah, Tuesday night. I stayed in another hotel, got some sleep that night, and actually charged this battery because I wanted to be prepared for the storm. And so coming in here, I had 100% charge. That lasted for let's see, what is it, Saturday? So Wednesday. So 3.5 days, I guess. And then, well, no, more about 4 days. And then with yesterday, I got a little bit of solar coming in, not much, but I got like an hour that was coming in. And so, it's interesting. If you have like 2 100-watt panels out, even when it's snowing, if it's not snowing very hard, you'll get like 50 watts coming in. And so, but what I've been doing is just making sure that I'm real efficient about my energy. I'm running my router only when I'm using my internet, otherwise it's off. Same with my computer. I'm not just like, running podcasts on it in the background or anything like that. I'm using my phone for that, the little iPhone that I had to operate my drone. I'll use that for like, any sort of audio files and stuff like that. And then when I use Final Cut Pro to edit the videos, that's when I get the most energy draw out of any device that I have. That, and then the RC truck, when I charge up that battery. And so it's just being mindful of it, And then now that I know that I'm leaving tomorrow, and so it's like, okay, my battery is at 20%. That'll get me through the night. I'll be fine with that. And then in the morning, it'll probably be pretty low. And by the time I get in the truck, I can start charging it back up again and be good to go. So, you want to make sure that you do plan your power appropriately. If you, I kind of have a get out of jail free card with my truck because I've got an inverter in the back in the bed of the truck. And so that kicks out 400 watts. And so what I'll do is I'll charge the battery, and then I've got an extension cord that's got like multi plugs in it. Then I can plug in my my computer with the AC cord that I have and the AC plug, and truly charge just the battery and not like daisy chain charge stuff on it while I'm recharging it. So just different things like that, just to be mindful of it. And you find, in the nighttime here, I can take my fridge if I want, and if I'm getting really low energy, instead of keeping it inside the tent, I can put it in the vestibule and it's still covered and, it's safe in here. Nobody's going to come take it, and animals can't get into it or anything. But the vestibule will be cold enough to where, like, the fridge will be fine. I won't have to run it. So, just little energy saving tips like that. You learn them after a while, just kind of like little hacks on how to make it work. So, all right, let's see what else have we got here. All these comments. You're awesome. Right on, Brian. Thank you. That makes me feel good. I appreciate everybody. All right. Let's see here. What have I got? Still using the Solar Home 620. No, Kevin, you asked about this. The BioLite Solar Home 620. I'm not using that anymore just because there was a time when I was using it last year where the water Kind of was melting a lot off the sides of the tent, and it came over to where I had it stored on the ground, and it got into the Solar 620, and then it froze one night. And I woke up in the morning, I picked it up, and like the whole ice was like attached to it. And ever since then, it just hasn't worked. And so, you know, I've been using like just the little, let's see, where are they? The little sunlights. They're from BioLite. It's just a little tiny lantern that has a little solar panel on the back of it. So it's like this right here. It's got a little solar panel on the back, and then on the front it's this, and then it has different lights, so you could do like different colors and stuff like that, so you can do different things inside here. And then I'll just take a clip and clip it up to like the guideline here, and then I can put it back and forth and run it to whatever I want for light at night. All right, so we're gonna do the sandwiches. Let's see, we're gonna use both skillets here. So I'm gonna use the deep dish skillet for the eggs and cooking that up, and then we're gonna use the shallow one just for toasting up the bagel here. So let me put some more butter on that. Oh, it sounds like it really started snowing outside. Let's take a look real quick. Oh yeah. Wow. Look at this. I don't know if you can really see how much is dumping out there, but it is really dumping. Huge flakes. I don't know if I'm going to be getting out of here tomorrow, to be honest. I may have to do like a staged exit, like a phased exit or something like that to get out of here, because like I'll have a lot of weight in the back of my truck, and I don't know if it's going to get me stuck or not. And the weight might be beneficial, it might not. We'll have to see. I'm not too far from pavement, so there's a community of off-grid people that live close to here, and it's not very far away. I mean, it's really close. And so if I can get to that section, I'm fine. And I've got my Max Tracks with me, so worst case scenario, I can use the Max Tracks to get around. But there's just a low line section that I have to go through, and I don't know if that area gets swamped out with water or not. And then that's going to be, I'll have to make sure that I get out of here first thing in the morning when it's still below freezing. That way I can get out on the ice, and the ice will be my savior. It'll make the roads all nice and hard. So let me go grab some wood real quick. We got to feed the stove. We'll get cooking. Let's see here. The rest of the wood process, it's going to be tired. I think after this, once the roads get better, I'm going to go back down to the Verde Hot Springs and chill there and probably let my body recoup a little bit. Because it's been fun out here. I mean, I've been having a blast. Obviously, I love doing this, but it's a lot of work. And it's mainly just a lot of gear to work with, and you got to kind of babysit it. And I mean, I've essentially set up a house back here in the forest that I can operate in during these conditions. So, one thing I'd recommend, and I always tell myself, like, don't wear these waterproof coats. You touch it, the synthetic material on it melts. And I've got this really dirty shirt on underneath. I'm gonna actually change it here and change into something else. But I'm gonna take this off because, like the last one I had, you'll end up just barely touching the arms, and then as soon as you touch it to the metal, it's like it'll create a seam of melted material, and pretty much just ruin it, so you don't want to do that. I'll throw this on here real quick. All right, we got the stove going. These are warming up. I think we're going to use one of those big eggs and see how much that gets us, because like one egg doesn't cover this. You put one egg and like with some cheese on top and an onion or something like that, it only covers about like just the middle portion of it. So you need at least 2 eggs to make it work. And I think with the farm eggs that I have, with the normal one and the Big Bertha eggs, I think if I just do a normal one and a big one, I think I'll be in good shape with that. So that's what we're going to use. And for those of you that are curious about cooking on cast iron, it's really a great way to cook, because the heat that is in here, it's not even, but once you get used to working with it, you can really make some great food. And a lot of people ask me, like what do you use for non-stick? And I just use butter. So I use unsalted butter, and I just put down like just a light coating on there, And I mean, you cook eggs, anything, it won't stick on there, and you're good to go. And then it also makes it easy to remove the food. Another thing too is that a lot of people asked about the maintenance of cast iron, and you'll read online how people will say like never put water in cast iron, and that's true if it's going to be standing water. But you can use water to clean it, as long as you dry it right afterwards, it's no problem. And so what I'll do is if there's food material in here that I can't get up, what I'll do is I'll use. Let's see, it's right here. I'll use like an old credit card, and this was my old U.S. Forest Service volunteer card, my American Beautiful volunteer card. You can see it's kind of curved like that, and what that is this is a good food scraper. And so everybody asks like, what do you use for food scraping and stuff like that on your cast iron? Just use like an old credit card or an old like Safeway card or one of these plastic cards, because it contours to your deal in there. But anyway, if I can't get the food out with this, you can boil water in there. And if that doesn't knock it off, it'll at least loosen it up. And then you can come in and you can use like a light scrubber to scrub that off. And it won't take the seasoning off. Like you got to scrub hard to, like the seasoning that builds up over a while. You have to scrub really hard to get that off. And so you can use water to help you clean this, but just make sure that you dump the water immediately. And then what I'll do is I'll take it, dry it out, and then reapply like some canola oil or cooking oil or whatever on it to kind of re-season it and get it all nice looking. So, all right, let's put these eggs on here. I'm gonna start rocking. Whoa, that was funny. Oh man, that did not go well. I forgot that the Big Bertha eggs are, the eggshells on them are a little soft. That's all right. We can make that work. That was funny though. Like, that's hilarious. It's like a typical guy cooking, right? So, all right. I'll put this on there. And I found, so I have 10-inch skillets. So there's a deep dish 10-inch, and there's a normal 10-inch skillet. And like side by side bagel will fit perfect in there to toast. So if you want to toast it, in your cast iron, you just put it in, and then I'll show you just like that. So it fits in real nice. So you're good to go. All right, let's do some questions here while this kind of starts to cook. I am going to get some cheese going real quick, but let's see if there's anything I need to get caught up on here. Let's see. Oh, cool. I'm glad people are noticing this. So Almy Ross had mentioned that the quality on the new videos is better. And what I'm doing is I actually bumped up the settings. So the settings initially that I had were 1080p, and then the frames per second was at 24 frames per second. But what I'm doing now is I'm shooting it at 60 frames per second. So it's still 1080p. It's still the Canon G7X Mark III that I'm using, but I'm using 60 frames per second. And same with the GoPro. So I bumped both those up from 24 frames per second to 60. And what I noticed is that I can use the Canon now as a handheld, where and it's not real choppy, because with more frames per second, it's more of a smoother picture, even if I'm moving around fast. And so it helps me to film with that, which I like filming with the Canon. I think the picture quality of it's fantastic, and I think the GoPro is great too. But the Canon's really nice in lower light, and so I'm now going to be able to use that more instead, like for action shots instead of just still shots, which is nice. So if you have a camera where you can make those adjustments, go to 60 frames per second, and it makes the image quality much better for any video that you're doing. So, all right, this is cooking up pretty fast. I left my spatula at my buddy's place in California. I cooked my world famous bacon breakfast burritos for my buddies one morning when we were in California, and I left my stupid spatula at their house. So I have to do everything with a spoon. It's a little bit harder to do it. Nice thing is though, so if you have cast iron and you're doing eggs, a lot of people ask me how I do my eggs. I always make sure that they firm up enough before you start to try to work with them. If they're a little bit runny at all when you try to flip them, it doesn't work, and then it can start to kind of gum up your cooking process. So, all right, well, thanks for noticing, Almy. I'm really impressed with, like, when I was editing it, I was like, man, these images look so much better. And so I plan on just continuing using that. The file sizes are much larger. I mean, much larger. But I think it's worth it. I think it looks great. And I'm doing a better job now of like keeping my computer more like clear of files that I'm not using or files that are kind of old and I don't need to have on my computer anymore. So going forward, I think if I stay more organized like that, I'll be in good shape and I won't go down my machine. So, all right, I'm trying to do 2 things at once here. Talk, actually 3 things. Talk, check the comments, and then also cook. And it's proving to be a lot for my Neanderthal brain. So let me put these onions on here real quick, and then we'll get back to some more comments. All right. Sierra has been insisting that she sleeps with me at night. I've been trying to get her to sleep on the floor because I've got her bed over here, and I put like these really comfy blankets out for her and all that stuff. But she's still, after about like an hour of being down there, it was funny, last night, lights were off. I thought we were sleeping. I thought she was sleeping. I'm laying here. All of a sudden, right next to my ear, I hear this breathing, and it's Sierra. She's standing there, just looking at her tail's going like crazy. I'm like, all right, come on up. She jumps into the bed. So, but I've been trying to get her to sleep down there because, my sleep has been kind of a little bit marginal as of late. But the good thing is with that goat's milk with the prebiotics in it, you can tell a difference. I mean, my stomach feels amazingly better, and just from drinking all that stuff. So I'm really happy about that. So, all right, let's see here. Let's see, Meryl Webster, you were asking. Let me get back here and get to these comments. Sorry, I can just keep talking and talking. Let's see. Get cooking. Let's see. Thank you for the influence. Oh, Terry, yeah, you bet. I'm glad you got that link. I didn't see those earlier comments that you were asking about that. So, Lena, hello from the Philippines. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, the Sesame Street shirt. I spilled coffee down it right when I got down here, and so it's currently needing to be washed. If you hear that noise, what that is that's water coming in from the top there because we've got a bunch of snow. We got a lot of snow that's built up. So the snow right here that's built up on the tent. See, what it'll do is it'll melt and then come down the stovepipe entrance right here, and then sizzle on top of the stove. So that's what you're hearing. Wow, there's a lot of snow out here. A lot of snow. Look at this one right here. Brightens things up in here a little bit. I didn't realize that was keeping it kind of a little bit kind of dark. So, all right, let's look here real quick. We're looking pretty good. Yeah, we're getting close. Ah, darn. Some of that water fell on the bread here. That's all right. We'll get that going. All right. Let me do this. Yeah, I can hear it snowing. It's still coming down pretty good. Oh, yeah, it's coming out really good. Check this out. Isn't that beautiful with all those trees? And that's so cool looking. The trees out here are huge, so it's been really nice to winter camp with them because they're holding all that snow. Like when we walked out and I showed you initially how much snow there was. We'll go out again after the food. But yeah, it's really nice camping in these conditions. It's just nice going to different spots, and winter camping in different areas. So we're gonna take this, put it down, grab this. All right, yeah, this was the right amount of egg for this size of sandwich. So see, let me show you. So what you want to do, this is actually like 3 eggs because that one huge egg accounts for 2. But so this is almost like 3 eggs. This is a pretty thick sandwich too. I've got like a good amount of egg on there. So, and then you just toast these up, and I like the everything bagel with it. I think that tastes really good. So, all right, let's see here. So we're going to eat, and then we're going to, it's warm in here. Hang on one second. I got to get this all situated. That is hot. All right, let's go sit down over here. I'm gonna go clear the snow from the vestibule. I want to take y'all with me real quick while I do this because it looks like there's a ton out here. So the vestibule always stacks up with the most snow, and it always stacks up here, like on the top. And so what'll happen in the morning is when I open up the tent door here, this will start raining first because like the condensation will start to melt, and then you'll see like these huge water pools right here. And it's not enough to where it'll collapse your tent. Like you're in good shape. It's not gonna hurt it. But that's what you want to clear first when all the snow builds up here, and then it just goes down the side and sheds and everything. So there's lots of snow. Yeah, quite a bit. All right, let's go back here and chat a little more. So I'm kind of trying to decide where to go after this, because now that I'll have now that I'll put the big tent in storage for the rest of the year until wintertime, until next winter, I'm thinking about, I'll have my tent, my tarp tent with me that has the stove jack in it, so I can go into cold weather conditions. And I'm thinking about just tracking weather all throughout the West and just seeing where there's kind of like light snow conditions, and just really getting acquainted with that. Because one thing I've noticed with it when I got in there is like, it's with a smaller stove and a smaller space on stuff, I've really got to pare down my gear. Obviously, I can't bring the gear in like what I have in this. And so I'm thinking probably get like a really small, lightweight cot that gets me up off the ground just a tad bit. Get something like that, and then redo all of my cooking gear, because I'm not going to be backpacking with cast iron. And so get some like MSR gear, get some really good cookware, and then get into backpacking again, because I'm starting to feel better. I mean, my weights, I broke the 160 barrier, so I'm up to like 162 right now, which is great. And now that those health issues kind of seem to be slowly resolving themselves, with my strength being back, I want to backpack to all these cool areas. And with having the stove, the nice thing about that is even if it's not going to snow, you can get into some spring and fall conditions with some really cold nights, but nice days. Your days can be like in the 60s, but your evenings can be down the 20s or even the teens. So having that stove is going to give me a lot of flexibility to go into these spots and like be pretty comfortable with me and Sierra, and still have a cool experience and not have to carry a ton of gear. Because that's the one thing about this tent that I always tell everybody. I know everybody loves this tent, and I do too, but man, it is a production. So, it'd be great if I could just snap my fingers and have this thing deployed, but it's a lot of effort. And like, I'm not looking forward to breaking this thing down in the morning before the sun comes up. It's going to be cold, it's going to be wet, and it's going to be a pain in the butt. So that's where having that smaller tent with the teepee and all that stuff, and the backpacking stove, it just makes it to where I'll be more flexible. So, all right, let me do a few more questions here, and then I'm going to start eating. So Rose for more. Thank you so much. Joshua Moore, thank you very much. All right, let's see here. What else have we got? Don't forget your baby. Yeah, Kathy, I know I almost burned this thing. I almost burned it, but right there, it's not bad. So Gerald Lee said Sierra is my favorite YouTube dog. I tell you, she's the star of this show. And once I started featuring her a lot more, it's funny, like the channel really did take off. And so it's so much fun having her around, because she gets so stoked about just the smallest things, And then winter camping with her when she goes crazy when I bust out the big tent, it's just a blast. So it's fun. It's fun. Like, I recommend anybody who's gonna hit the road, if you're gonna be doing it solo, see if you can get a furry friend to come with you if you got like a dog that likes adventure, because it helps. It definitely adds to the experience, I think. So, all right, let's see. What elevation am I at? Ben Farco was asking. My elevation right now is 7,200 feet. Andrew was asking, what other 4-season tents would I recommend for full-time off-grid? I think that, you can't go wrong with any of those canvas tents. Like you'll see like the canvas walled tents, those things are great. And if you're going to be able to set it up in one spot, like a tent in one spot and not move it, you might as well get like the double walled canvas tents. You can look at like, gosh, I don't really know the canvas double walled tents. I honestly haven't looked at them because I've got this tent, but those double walled tents are nice because you can actually get a floor into like an elevated floor, like a wood floor and everything. And if you're going to be living in one off grid, that's what I would do, because this one's too loud, and all the synthetic ones are too loud with the wind. And the nice thing about the canvas is they're cotton, and so when they're double walled, you got two pieces of cotton canvas that flap in the wind. Number one, it creates a great heat barrier, so like it retains heat really well because you have that air gap. But two, the cotton doesn't flap at all, and so I mean a little bit if there's really high winds, but it's not bad. And so those are better shelters in my opinion, but they're a lot heavier. and it's just more of a production to set up. And a lot of them have like a frame, like a tent frame that's like this house that you build before you even put the canvas over it. So that's why I opted to go with the polyester, fire resistant cloth blend that I have here with this tent. It was just easier to transport and easier to set up. But for long term, definitely go with like a canvas tent. Now there are backpacking tents or smaller tents that you can get for backpacking from a company called Ellis Tents, Ellis. They're based out of Durango, and they've got some cool tents. I think they got some bigger ones too. I don't know if they're double walled, but they've got canvas ones. So go look at those. Those are really highly recommended. Snow Trekker is great. If you're going to do any backpacking with a canvas tent, then go with Snow Trekker. Snow Trekker's got, they've been doing it for like 30 years. It's this couple that lives up in Wisconsin. They pretty much like set the standard when it comes to a canvas tent for backpacking for winter stuff. So what people will do with that is, it's a little bit heavier gear. The tents themselves are, I think anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds, but you just get a hip sled, like a toboggan hip sled, and it attaches to like, if you have a backpack or anything, or just a belt, it attaches around your waist, and then you just walk into the forest with it. You can carry a bunch of gear with you. So, all right, let's see here. Curse fan 2010 was asking, do I share my people food with Sierra? Yes, very much so. She gets anything that she within reason. She gets anything that she would like. So, all right, let's see what else have we got. And no, I'm not in Colorado. I'm in Arizona. Some people were asking if I was in Colorado. So I'm in Arizona right now, near Flagstaff, and planning on probably going south after I get packed up tomorrow and just figuring out different place to hang out until things kind of Bravo tents. Oh, okay, cool. Fly Fishing Nomad says Bravo tents made in Washington. I'm not had a chance to check them out yet, so I'll definitely do that. And then the canvas bell tents on Amazon, Meet the Bushes. I mentioned about that. Said he got a decent canvas bell tent. I've heard those canvas bell tents are great. So I've just not ever used one, so I don't have any firsthand experience. But those bell tents are awesome, and I've heard that they're really comfortable. So maybe check out one of those. I never heard back from Tom Green, Coors fan. You were asking about that, so that's just fine. I figured he was busy. I actually saw that after when I sent that message later that day, he posted a video. He was back in Los Angeles, so I must have missed him when he was out here. So, all right, I'm gonna eat my sandwich because it's starting to get cold. Kathy, you called it. It's getting kind of chilly. So I'm gonna get rolling here, but I'll have another video up tomorrow. The footage for tomorrow's video is stellar, like the stuff in the forest and everything. It's just beautiful. So I'm really excited for y'all to see it. And then I'll probably have another video out with this footage. I'll probably have another 3 videos out with this footage that I have. So we'll be good to go for like another week with stuff. So all right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. And if I get stuck here tomorrow, then we'll do a live stream then too. So let's keep my fingers crossed that I can get out in the morning. So I'll be sure to provide an update. I'll post the message in the community section on my page, just let everybody know if I made it out or not. So, all right, thanks everybody. Have a good evening. Take care. All right, girls, get this sandwich going.